far away.
Probably not the performance you expected from the group today?
No, it was as poor as we played for a long period of time, to be honest. It was, it was disappointing. We're just beaten in all facets of the game. In particular, contest and defence, we just felt we're a metre off all day. When you're that metre off, one, you can't compete, and then secondly, against good sides, they carve you up defensively, so you can't defend. So, to give up 10 goals, I think it was the defensive half. It's something we spoke about. We knew we had to take away, and knew we were in trouble early when they kicked 4 in the first quarter. So it was disappointing. A disappointing day we've had for a long time.
There was 5 minutes before half time where Long gives away the 50 and then they kick 3 goals there.
Yeah.
That felt like a bit of a shift. You could have gone into half time.
Yeah, I think we had a shot on goal, missed it, which happens, and then they kicked the next 3. And, once again, there's just so many things that we just didn't get right today that, you hear me consistently talk about, playing your moments. We just didn't play the moments well enough. We were just off and just couldn't win our one-on-ones, 2v2s, 3v3 scrambles. And they did. And that was a difference in the game. Our midfield contested ball was down. Our pressure through the middle part of the ground was down. So, unfortunately, when those two things collide, you're generally in a bit of trouble. And we just couldn't get that. Couldn't rectify it at any stage. So, to look across the scope of the ground, we didn't have a lot of winners today. We had a lot of guys down on the same day.
When you look, I guess you're saying across the board there was issues with 2 games to go before finals. Is it a case of having to rectify that? How do you look at that?
Oh, look, at the end of the day, we've played a reasonably consistent brand of footy throughout the vast majority of the year. And, sometimes when you have down days, sometimes you have some guys that are down, but not the amount of players that we had down today, which then affected us system-wise, and we just couldn't get the game looking like a Suns game at all. So we'll sit there and you can analyse it to death, but the fact of the matter is what we've done throughout the course of the year has been pretty consistent the way we played and played a reasonable style of game. Today was nothing like that. So we'll get to work, we'll review it, we'll get a better understanding of why, speak to the players about it, and get a better result hopefully next week.
When they're kicking 13 goals, 1 or whatever it was from set shots as well, it doesn't give you much scope to get back into it.
No, and they do that very well. It's a strong strength. It's a really strong part of the game. We've spoken about that, I think, the last time we played. The amount of times, the opportunities they get, and they kick well. It's a strength of their football club. It's the reason they win a lot of games. So, and then on the opposite, we probably had some opportunities. We could have got the scoreboard looking a little bit closer, got the crowd involved, and we just couldn't get the game on our terms, unfortunately, all day.
Saying like you're a metre off most contests, is that physical? Like this stage of the season, long year, a lot of same guys playing every week?
No, it's just not reading cues. It's just, the fact of the matter is, we're one of the fittest sides in the competition, and we just didn't read the cues well enough. They were that metre in front. Sometimes when you're reactive and not proactive, you're on your heels as compared to on your toes, and we'll show the guys some vision of that about where we had some opportunities to take the ground defensively that they wanted offensively, and we just played reactive, not proactive, which isn't us. So
A win today would have almost certainly sealed a spot in the top 8. Do you feel as though maybe there's a bit of nerves amongst the group heading into which would have caused that performance?
I don't know. I wouldn't have thought so. I thought we, prepared as well as we could this week. We had a, interruption that was, we had a rough couple of weeks, obviously, from preparation point of view with, one of our players has obviously had a significant loss sort of thing, and it's been tough, physically and emotionally, I think, in our playing group. So, we'll respond.
Looking ahead to the Port game, Jimmy, obviously Kenny's last game there, and the venue itself has been a hard one for you guys. That's going to test just the psychologically the nerve, I guess, next week.
Yeah, the game of AFL tests you every week. Every week's a challenge. There's no question about that. We've overcome some great challenges, some great obstacles this year, and the only way through that, it's not going around those obstacles, it's going straight through them. So that's the only thing we can do. Yep, Kenny's last game, that's great, and he's been an outstanding coach of that football club for a long time. And Adelaide Oval, as you said, hasn't been a happy hunting ground. Let's get 2 things done. So we're well and truly capable. We'll build our boys back up, and they'll respond.
That'd be great. Brent, I imagine you'd see that as full house and all those factors.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no better place to play than AFL in an away venue, hostile environment, and then play your very best footy. So that's what we'll be looking forward to do this week.
Hey, Rowell and Anderson, obviously an amazing season, lots of attention today around stoppages. You got enough levers to pull in there to help them out?
Oh, we have. We just felt that most of our levers probably today were a little bit down. You know, I thought our midfield was beaten by GWS midfield, to be fair. And, you know, Bailey Humphrey's probably a magnet that we'd like to have. Will Graham's another magnet we'd like to have. But the fact of the matter is we've got who we got. They're well and truly capable of playing better than what they did today. That's not saying they weren't trying. They just got beaten by a better, hungrier unit today, I think.
Is Humphrey and Graham, how are they? Are they next week?
Yeah, look, I think Humphrey's a week-to-week thing. We'll see how that goes, and Will Graham's probably a week or two away at this stage. So, you know, once again, we'll sit there and work through that later on in the week.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.